Our stories are not real and made for entertainment purpose only. Subscribe to my channel for more stories. Now let's begin this one. My mentor claimed my research at the conference, then I presented a timestamp that proved it was mine. I trusted my mentor to guide my academic career until she claimed my groundbreaking research as her own at a national conference, and I revealed a timestamped draft that exposed her lies and secured my future. At 28, I was a PhD candidate in environmental science at Portland State University, my life a whirlwind of lab work, late-night writing, and a burning desire to make a difference. My research focused on urban wetland restoration, a model to revive polluted city waterways using native plants and biofiltration. It wasn't just a dissertation, it was my legacy, a tribute to my late father, an ecologist who taught me to love rivers and forests. His death 5 years ago, from cancer, had driven me to this path, his old field journals my inspiration. My partner, Sam, a graphic designer with a heart as big as his sketchpad, was my anchor, his late-night coffee runs and quiet encouragement keeping me sane. Our cat, Willow, curled up on my desk, her purring a soundtrack to my endless revisions. My mentor, Dr. Elaine Morrow, was a giant in our field, her papers on climate adaptation cited worldwide. At 55, she was a commanding presence, her sharp intellect matched by a knack for securing grants and conference slots. When she took me under her wing 2 years ago, I felt honored. Her praise for my early drafts, "Lena, this is groundbreaking," fueling my confidence. My mother, Clara, a retired nurse living in Eugene, beamed with pride, framing my conference acceptance letter. My younger brother, Ethan, a college freshman, sent me goofy memes to ease my stress. With their support, I poured everything into my model, dreaming of a faculty position to carry on Dad's work. The National Eco Summit in Seattle was my big break, a chance to present my research to 500 experts, from professors to policymakers. Elaine invited me to co-present, her email glowing. "Your work deserves this stage." Sam helped me polish my slides, his design skills making my data pop, while Willow batted at my laptop, a furry critic. I spent weeks rehearsing, my nerves a mix of excitement and fear. This was my moment to shine, to prove I belonged not just for me, but for Dad's memory. The Eco Summit was a whirlwind, the Seattle Convention Center buzzing with ideas and ambition. The auditorium, a sea of name tags and laptops, felt like a proving ground. I wore a blazer Sam had picked, my hands sweaty as Elaine and I took our seats. She introduced our session, her voice warm, as she praised our research, crediting my assistance. I smiled, assuming she'd call me up to present. But then she took the stage alone, my slides flashing behind her. "This model," Elaine said, gesturing to my equations, "is my solution to urban waterway decline." My stomach dropped. My data, my biofiltration design, my late nights analyzing plant uptake, she claimed it all, her voice steady, her eyes avoiding mine. "I've spent years refining this," she lied, as the audience nodded, scribbling notes. She presented my charts, my case studies, even my proposed pilot in Portland, passing them off as hers. Sam, in the third row, gripped his program, his shock mirroring mine. The applause was thunderous, colleagues rushing to congratulate her, while I sat, invisible, my work stolen in front of 500 people. Backstage, I confronted her, my voice shaking. "Elaine, that was my research," she smirked, her tone patronizing. "Lena, you're not ready for this spotlight. I'm doing you a favor." Her words stung worse than the theft she'd mentored me, praised me, only to erase me. Sam was livid, pulling me aside. "She's a fraud. Lena, you can't let this stand." My phone buzzed. Mom, texting from home. "How'd it go?" I couldn't answer, the humiliation too raw. The conference continued, Elaine basking in praise, while I wrestled with doubt. Had I trusted her too much? Was my work only valuable in her hands? That night, in our hotel room, I couldn't sleep, Elaine's smirk haunting me. Sam brewed tea, his voice fierce. "You built that model, Lena. We'll prove it." Willow, back home with Ethan, was a distant comfort, but Sam's belief was my lifeline. I opened my laptop, desperate to reclaim my work. My first find was a time-stamped draft, emailed to myself a year ago, before Elaine joined my project. Its metadata showed every equation, every hypothesis mine, indisputable. I also found a recorded Zoom call from 6 months ago, a check-in where Elaine said, "Lena's work is brilliant, I'm just polishing it." Her voice, clear and casual, was a dagger to her lies. Sam suggested we dig deeper. I scoured our shared drive, finding notes where Elaine deferred to my ideas. Lena, your approach is the core here. A colleague, Dr. Aisha Patel, a postdoc who'd worked with Elaine, texted me after the session. She's done this before. Meet me. Over coffee, Aisha revealed Elaine's pattern, taking credit for students' work, using her clout to silence them. She stole my paper 2 years ago, Aisha said, her voice low. I didn't fight, but you should. Her testimony was gold, but I needed more. I found an email Elaine sent to a journal, pitching her wetland model, dated before she'd even seen my full draft. I consulted the university's ombudsman, Ms. Rachel Carter, a no-nonsense administrator. She reviewed my evidence, her eyes narrowing. This is academic misconduct, she said. You can file a complaint, but a public reveal will hit harder. Sam nodded, sketching a plan like one of his designs. Show it at the conference, he urged. Let them see her for who she is. I hesitated. Exposing Elaine could tank my career, but Dad's journals, tucked in my bag, reminded me why I'd started. I wasn't just fighting for credit. I was fighting for truth, for his legacy. For 3 days, Sam and I worked like detectives, holed up in our hotel room, Willow's absence a quiet ache. I compiled a presentation, weaving the time-stamped draft with the Zoom recording, Elaine's emails, and Aisha's written statement. Sam formatted it, his design eye ensuring clarity, every slide a bullet in my arsenal. I found a backup of my model's code, logged in my university account, showing I'd built it from scratch. A conference volunteer, Jamal, overheard Elaine bragging about taking the kids' work at a reception, his recorded testimony adding weight. Ms. Carter connected me with a former student, Dr. Kim, who'd left academia after Elaine stole her thesis. Kim's affidavit was a gut punch. She's a predator. Mom called, sensing my stress. You're your father's daughter, she said. He'd fight for what's right. Ethan sent a meme of a knight slaying a dragon, captioned, Get her, sis. Their faith, and Sam's steady hand, kept me focused. I reached out to the conference chair, Dr. Nguyen, requesting a slot at the closing session to clarify our presentation. Elaine, unaware, emailed me a curt note. Stay quiet, Lena. It's for your career. Her arrogance was my fuel. Ms. Carter helped notarize the evidence, ensuring it was ironclad. This wasn't just about my model, it was about every student Elaine had silenced. The closing session was a packed affair. The auditorium humming with anticipation, the stage lit like a courtroom. Elaine sat in the front row, basking in her stolen glory, her name tag gleaming. Sam squeezed my hand, his sketchbook filled with notes of encouragement. Mom and Ethan watched via live stream, their texts a quiet cheer. I wore Dad's old scarf, a talisman of his courage, my heart racing as Dr. Nguyen called me up. I need to address yesterday's presentation, I said, my voice steady despite the tremor in my hands. I connected my laptop, the projector casting my first slide, my time-stamped draft, dated April 2024. This is my research, I said, clicking through equations, data, my model's core. The audience leaned forward as I played the Zoom clip, Elaine's voice echoing. Lena's work is brilliant. I showed her journal email, Aisha's statement, Jamal's recording, Kim's affidavit, each piece a brick in the wall of truth. Dr. Morrow claimed my work, I said, meeting her eyes. This proves it's mine. The room erupted, whispers turning to gasps. Elaine stood, her face pale, stammering, this is a misunderstanding. But Dr. Nguyen cut her off, his voice cold. Sit down, Dr. Morrow. He examined my draft, nodding to colleagues. Aisha, in the crowd, stood, adding, she stole from me too. The audience turned, Elaine's allies shrinking away. Nguyen declared an ethics review, halting Elaine's keynote. My model was credited to me, the audience applauding, Sam's proud smile my anchor. Elaine left, head bowed, her career unraveling. Elaine's fall was swift, a collapse as inevitable as it was complete. The university's investigation moved with a quiet ferocity, peeling back the layers of her deceit. Her theft, it turned out, extended beyond my work. She had plagiarized the research of 3 other students, each discovery a new wound to her reputation. Her tenure, once a fortress of academic prestige, was revoked with clinical precision. Her published papers, celebrated in journals and conferences, were retracted one by one, their titles erased from the annals of scholarship. Elaine's name, once spoken with reverence in university halls, became a cautionary tale, whispered in seminar rooms and faculty lounges as a warning against hubris and betrayal. She retreated to a small community college in a distant town, her influence extinguished, her legacy reduced to a footnote of failure. I didn't gloat, her ruin was never my aim. My focus had always been my research, the wetland model that carried my hopes and my father's dreams. With Elaine's shadow lifted, I poured every ounce of my energy into it, determined to let truth, not vengeance, define my path. The Eco Summit that spring became a turning point. My presentation on the wetland restoration model captivated the panel, its blend of ecological innovation and practical application sparking murmurs of excitement. When they awarded me a substantial grant to pilot the model in Portland, I felt a surge of validation, a quiet thrill that my work was taking root. The pilot site, a degraded marsh on the city's outskirts, came alive under the model's framework. Native plants returned, water quality improved, and wildlife began to reappear, their calls a chorus of renewal. The success drew attention, and soon after, Oregon State University extended a faculty offer a tenure-track position in their environmental science department. I accepted without hesitation, my heart swelling at the thought of standing in a classroom, shaping minds as my father once had. His worn journals, filled with sketches of wetlands and notes on soil chemistry, now sat proudly on my office shelf, their pages a silent guide. Each lecture I gave felt like a tribute to him, his legacy woven into every word I spoke. My family and friends became the scaffolding of this new chapter. Sam, ever my anchor, designed the project's logo, a stylized heron rising from reeds, its wings a nod to resilience. He worked late into the night, drafts scattered across our dining table, Willow napping contentedly on the crumpled papers, her purring a soft soundtrack to his creativity. Mom and Ethan flew out to visit the pilot site, their pride palpable as we planted a ceremonial tree, a sturdy willow, its roots sinking into the reclaimed earth. Mom's eyes glistened as she pressed her hand to the sapling's trunk, whispering, "Your dad would be so proud." Lena, Ethan, ever the joker, sent me a stream of memes about Professor Lena, each one making me laugh until my sides ached. Aisha, my fierce friend from grad school, co-authored a paper with me on the wetland model's outcomes, her courage in calling out Elaine's misconduct still a spark that fueled my own resolve. Jamal, another grad student who'd weathered Elaine's manipulation, joined my research team, his uncheckable ethics a cornerstone of our work. Together, we built something honest, something enduring, a legacy rooted in integrity. Yet the betrayal lingered, a quiet ache beneath my triumphs. Elaine had been more than a mentor, she'd been a beacon, her early guidance a lifeline, when I was a fumbling grad student navigating the academic world. Her betrayal cut deeper because of that trust, leaving a scar that pulsed with every milestone. I'd catch myself staring at my research, wondering how someone could twist something so pure into a tool for their own gain. Sam, always attuned to my silences, sensed the weight I carried. One evening, he planned a quiet celebration at home, cooking Dad's favorite chili recipe, the kitchen filled with the warm, spicy aroma of memory. Willow curled up nearby, her soft purring a balm to my restless thoughts. As we sat at the table, candlelight flickering between us, Sam raised a glass, his eyes warm and steady. "You're unstoppable, Lena," he said, his voice soft but certain. "You took the worst and built something beautiful." I hugged him tightly, my heart full, grateful for his unwavering love, for Mom's quiet pride, for Ethan's relentless humor that kept me grounded. A year later, an email from Elaine arrived, its subject line a stark "I'm sorry." The message was brief, a few lines acknowledging her mistakes, but it felt hollow, like words written to ease her own conscience rather than mend what she'd broken. I stared at the screen, my finger hovering over the reply button, but no words came. Forgiveness might find its way to me in time, but not yet, not when the wound was still tender, not when I was still learning to trust my own path. I closed the email and turned back to my work, to the wetland model that was now saving ecosystems, to the students who filled my classroom with questions, to the life I was building on a foundation of truth. My career, my legacy, my heart, they were mine, hard-won and unstealable, built on the lessons of loss and the courage to rise again.